I have already hit upon the game's problems: the terrible frame rate drop and a couple of lousy minigames. Here are 4 annoyances, starting with the time it takes to warp. You have to watch the dragon take you every single time you warp. It's kinda cool the first time, but it would be nice to save 26 seconds every once in a while. The jumping mechanic can be frustrating at times as well. Here are a couple examples of that. The problem is, the jumping mechanic is just a little bit too rigid. You have no camera control at all. You have to sit and wait for the camera to see where you should be going. But thankfully, it's more of a problem early in the adventure. Still, you will find those moments when you wish you could move the camera. And lastly, the length of the game. My fastest clear time is now 5.5 hours. My review playthrough took a little over 6. It took me about 10 hours to get all the fortune dolls, but that was years ago and I'm sure everything could be done inside of 7. To the game's credit, the ending is just as crazy as everything else and concludes the story nicely. Still, a longer quest would have been welcome, as long as bad minigames were avoided. I hope I have made this clear. This is my favorite N64 game, and if I had a top 10 list, this would be number 3. Here's a quick rundown of the pros and cons once more. Pros: a zany story filled with clever writing, interesting dungeons, simple yet fun combat, wonderful music, and don't forget about that audience. Cons: needs a memory card, frame rate drops, a few bad minigames, no camera control, the jump mechanic isn't perfect, and the warping takes 26 seconds. So my little list has more cons than pros. The good news I have is that most of the problems are minor and temporary. I have to give this game a 9 out of 10. It has a few quirks that drop it from gaming perfection, but in my opinion, it's close. Mystical Ninja Starring Goemon has vibrant characters, a plot that brings me back year after year, great music, and only a few problems. If you have an N64 and don't have this game, find this game. It's just that awesome, and I hope this one eventually makes it to the Virtual Console. That wraps up video review number 3. Until next time, later.